I'll just keep smiling.
There we go.
Good morning, all. Welcome to the Daily Whatever Show, Part 2 or V2. Here's
V2.
hoping, V2, here's hoping we are actually connected on Substack. So I'm actually saying good morning to all of you. I am Dana DuBois.
I'm Lawrence Winnerman.
This is
Multitasking
Cousin.
in the background and forgetting my cues.
Oh my gosh. And we are live with Kazim Rashid. We had him in the green room earlier when we had our false start. Welcome, Kazim. Let's hope we are on the Daily Whatever Show. How are you today?
As I said off air, I'm managing, living the dream, fighting the nightmare. So good to be with both of you today.
Oh my gosh, so good to be with you as well. And I am, before we do, we for those of us who could not hear us because you were not on YouTube, we just did a whole open and realized that we are not live. I still don't see it live, but it's normal to take like a minute.
It
Do you
is
see it?
normal to take a minute, and
It's now
this is
been a
longer
minute.
than normal.
Wow. Did Substack officially completely kneecap StreamYard or us? Because I don't. Oh, I see it. We're live.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, God.
I was not going to have an explanation if it didn't work that time.
Okay. So we're starting off Fucked Up Friday by saying, don't know what just fucked up there, but I'm very happy that we are connected and live. Everyone's saying hello in the chat.
And Cosm,
Um,
thank you for being such a sport.
We're
yeah,
good, man.
Yeah.
This is
we
technology.
are.
It's life. We're good. Don't worry. I'm in
It
good
is.
company.
And with the way Substack has made this change this week that we were talking about off camera, where they've now limited it to only 3 entities at a time on a live, um, I have reservations that that's just the start and that they are going to start throttling certain folks from going live. So I literally was like, is today our day? So starting our Fucked Up Friday by saying, glad that's not reality, at least not yet. Very happy to say, yeah, Karen in the chat is saying, I was having a minor heart attack. Girl, same. Thank you for being here, Karen. As always, Karen has never missed an episode and is our moderator. All right. We did a whole opening before about saying goodbye to Stephen Colbert. I still want to acknowledge, even though we're starting a bit later, that it is very sad to be living in a world that is post Stephen Colbert's show. And I hope that that is a short pause and that his next chapter begins soon. Um, Thoughts, Lawrence or Kazim? I know Lawrence is a really big fan. Kazim,
I'm a huge Colbert fan.
yeah.
Cosm, what about you? Were you a regular
I,
viewer of
I,
the
I've
show?
followed his career since his show on Comedy Central, and I always loved the fact that after Jon Stewart got tapped for the Daily Show, he showed up to the press conference to grill Jon Stewart on getting the job over him. I thought that was hilarious. I think Colbert is definitely one of the better ones we have out there, and I think it's kind of a canary in the coal mine in some respects with the attacks on free speech that we're seeing. And I don't think Colbert was even particularly harsh on his administration. There's a lot under Biden and Trump that he didn't really aggressively approach. I don't think he talked much about Gaza. I don't think he talked much about some of the international issues. I would have liked for him to talk more of. But the fact that even the minor critiques that he had were seen as unforgivable by this regime, to anyone else who's been watching and sitting on the sidelines, you should understand that this is an indicator. I mean, you don't get wealthier and whiter and maler than Colbert, and they're coming after him. So
Right.
everyone else is pretty much on the chopping block as well. And I commend him for the work he's done. And I'm excited to see what he does next. I really hope that he goes like a Katie Couric route and just pulls out all the stops and just goes scorched earth on this regime and on every injustice out there, every politician out there, because he's got a platform, he's got the trust. And I
Yeah.
would love if he used it for the right reasons.
I
And
agree. And you make such a great point, right? Like mailer, whiter, and Catholicer than Stephen Colbert. Like
Yeah.
he is
right.
the prototypical straight white
Yeah.
Christian epitome of America. And if
Although
he
the
can get
best parts of
canceled,
it,
my
the,
God, what
yeah,
hope is there for a Muslim guy and two Jewish folks and any of us who remotely are outside of the prototypical American mainstream, right?
Yeah.
right. I think he was targeted because he's so universally beloved by the left. I mean, it would be a radical statement to be like, yeah, I'm not really so into him. I've never taken comfort or laughed at anything that he has done.
Yeah.
Um,
I would also add, Dana, I mean, and Lawrence, you brought this up. It actually wouldn't surprise me if he was targeted for being Catholic as well. I have no actual evidence of it.
Yeah.
But when you have a regime that's literally threatened the Vatican with military force,
Right.
it doesn't surprise me that they see someone who's very proud of his Catholicism, very open about it, talks about his belief in God, and does it in a way that isn't judgmental or bigoted, and that pisses them off. You know, the only time they want someone talking about God is when it's condemning Muslims or gay people or immigrants. To have somebody talk about God in a loving, inclusive way, and be beloved and be Catholic, it would not surprise me if that played a factor in why they're targeting him. Again, I have no proof, but I do have, we do have pretty clear statements from the Pope himself about the antagonism towards him. So I think it's something to think about.
Yeah, it's such a good point that Colbert is an example of Catholicism at its best, right? I mean, obviously we could debate forever the nature of the church, but there is a strain of Catholicism that is very about addressing social injustice and using faith as a means of doing good works in the world. And Colbert is very much that. And then we've got, the 6 Supreme Court justices and J.D. Vance and a whole bunch of other Opus Dei, end time apocalyptic Armageddon type Catholics in the government who are the opposite, who do not espouse being kind towards all and helping the most unfortunate among us and loving everybody regardless of their faith.
Yeah. So he is the best of us, and I think that's why he was targeted. I mean, he led with kindness. He didn't punch down. And an open invite, Stephen Colbert. If you're looking to get out there, the Daily Whatever Show would be honored to host you. Come to Substack. The water's warm.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he came to Substack? I mean,
he would break it. He would break the entire Substack platform.
Right, and he would have a million invitations to go live from all of us within the first 3 seconds.
Of course he would. I'm being a bit tongue in cheek, although also. I don't know if I could handle the Colbert. I don't know if I can handle the Colbert, but all of that's to say, there's a lot of horrors in the news, like there are every week. But I didn't want this episode to go by without us touching on it. And our friend Michelle Kinney did write a really beautiful tribute to Stephen Colbert, and you should absolutely read it. We promoted it earlier, I think, Lawrence, but not since we've been back on air. In fact, I will go find that while we are chatting. What else? Anything else going on in the news this week, Lawrence? I mean, I've got my fucked up Friday story, but slow news
I think
week.
It's such a weird day. Why don't we just invert the normal? And I'm getting comments that my mic is too quiet. This is a known issue. I keep fucking with it on my end, and I just cranked something up. So if I'm now too loud, let me know. But I think we should just jump into Fucked Up Friday.
I think we should.
Be loud.
I am a fan of that order of operations. Are you ready for us to just jump in, Qasim?
I'm ready. I've got an idea of what I'm going to talk about. Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah. So for those of you who may be watching for the first time, first of all, apologies. We normally have our act together a bit more than this without so many technical difficulties. But Fucked Up Friday is our weekly news rundown, and we do things a little differently, where we invite a guest on, and each of the three of us pick a story that perhaps you missed, or it's just something that we want to extra underline in a news cycle that every week floods us. We want to pause and each highlight a story that we think is important for awareness. And we also kind of pitch it to you in the audience, because we each want to be the winner of who picked the most fucked up story. And once we present our three, we are going to ask all of you here in our audience to vote for...
We call it it's the fun weekly news quiz that even the winner is a loser, because these are the most fucked up news stories of the week. So, the pride in winning is only that your news story is the worst of everything that's happened.
I know. And I did just find Michelle's tribute to Stephen Colbert, and I put it in the chat.
Nice.
Michelle Kinney is our friend from Mayday Network. We both are frequently live with her and with Julie Roginski on Saturday mornings, which I will be tomorrow for Saturdays for Sanity.
Well,
And
I
Michelle
won't because
makes.
I'm heading to your neck of the woods. I'm going to be in Chicago this weekend.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. There's
Hit me up.
I will. Awesome. I
Yeah.
will do that. That would be incredible. I'd love to grab lunch or coffee or
Yeah.
something.
Oh my gosh, go live,
Yeah.
you guys. That would be amazing. I
Yeah.
would be green with jealousy. But Michelle makes some of the most incredible video content I have seen. She worked for Seneca Project, Lincoln Project. Now she's with Mayday Network. But this was her first written piece for Substack, and it's beautiful. So go show her some love. And with
Amazing.
that, let's jump into our stories. Kasim, we always offer our guests that they can choose to go first, second, or third. We always used to say first, but we've uncovered that sometimes there's a recency bias, that the person who goes last often wins.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Because I think this is actually, it's an interesting story. So the Anti-Defamation League put out their report of the rise in anti-Semitic hate crimes. And I did a full story on this for my Substack because I'm a data nerd and I looked through the entire analysis, and they document since 2002 more than 41,000 documented cases of anti-Semitic hate. Clear cut. They've got a full file. I downloaded the whole file, and they actually very meticulously document every single act of anti-Semitic hate. Fantastic. Great. And then I was reading the commentary online, and all the commentary was about how this is the root of the spike is caused by these, anti-Israel protesters, these, protesters on college campuses. It's coming from the left. It's coming from Muslims. And so I said, well, what does the data actually show? And the data, as the ADL has reported, of the 41,000 documented cases of anti-Semitic hate that the ADL records, I will give each of you a guess. How many of them were from the left and from Muslims? Out of the 41,000, what number would you guess?
Ooh.
Versus from right-wing
15%.
Lawrence said 15%. Everyone in the chat, if you want to weigh in, what percent of the 41,000 were from the left? Like the actual violence was from the left.
Yeah, the left and Muslims and, what they define as Islamists, all that stuff. But
yeah, I'm going to say it's even lower. I'm going to say 8%.
8%, 15%. Any chats in the comments? I can't see the comments, but
I see 0, 2%, 10%, 0, 5%, 30%, 3%, 5%.
Okay. So of the 41,000 in the documented chart, and I uploaded it, 3 are from Muslims and leftists. Not 3%, 3 total of the 41,000. Yes. So you got like 40,997 from right-wing Christian nationalists, and they found 3 over the last 24 years that are from the left and from Muslims. It's and the way you hear about it, it's like, well, these college campuses are just out of control, and we got to crack down on these college students. We got to let them know. We got to deport these people, all the while ignoring that the actual scourge of anti-Semitism, which is a very real thing, is almost entirely 99.97% of it is from right-wing Christian nationalists. And I bring that up, and that thing is effed up because, one, we have the data and it's being manipulated badly, and 2, is being done in a way that, ironically, the ADL now is putting Jewish people in danger because they're lying about where the threat to Jewish people is coming from. So the organization that claims the vanguard of Jewish safety is, ironically, the cause of Jewish danger in the first place. And I think we should talk about that, and that needs to be more publicized.
You know what? We should have a conversation about that. I'd love to do a show about that because I've been saying for months, and Kasim, we've talked about this with you. It's Netanyahu. Like it is the actions of the Netanyahu government in Israel that have made Jewish people less safe around the world.
That's right.
He's doing more for Jewish hate than the KKK and, any fucking radicalized group you could possibly imagine. The actions in Gaza, the genocide in Gaza, the ongoing disdain and disregard, pushing, stupid ass Trump into war in Iran. Netanyahu is the problem, people.
Yeah, and
The
his cronies,
foxes in
right?
the hen house.
Yeah, and his cronies, Ben Gavir and Smotrich. I mean,
Yep.
all these people are, his cronies that are advancing this. The fact that they're, invading Iran because Iran allegedly has been producing a nuclear weapon and has been 2 weeks away for the last 30 years.
Right.
Meanwhile, they have 200 to 400 secret nuclear weapons that they won't let the UN inspectors come and check out. I mean, the hypocrisy is outstanding. And this is the point, right? That if we are serious about anti-Semitism, and we need to be, let's identify where it's coming from, as opposed to demonizing those who are actually working to stop it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that I'm feeling foolish for my 8% now. I'm like, wow,
No, but
I know. I said 15.
But that's the point, right? Like that's
right?
what a normal person would think. That it's probably. I mean, as a Muslim, I would have guessed that as well. That was my estimation as well. I'm like, I will never
Right.
absolve Muslims of being free of anti-Semitism. It absolutely exists. We're not these
Yeah.
magical fairies that are just these pure righteous souls. Sure, there's bigotry, and we need to root it out. I don't think I would have predicted it was this lopsided. And that part is actually, on one hand, makes me feel good that the American Muslim community is actually quite united in combating this overall. And it makes me furious that my Jewish siblings are being put in danger because of this disinformation from the ADL, no less.
Right. I'm old enough to remember when the ADL was actually a force for good in this country.
Yep.
And they have been, just like the Republican Party, taken over by people who are far right-wing extremists. These happen to be far right-wing Jewish people who are pushing the alignment between Netanyahu's government and Trump. And fuck them for ruining something that had once previously been a force for good, that had stood up against racism and segregation and things like that, and actually been a force for good in American politics, and turned it into something corrupted and evil.
I mean, just the idea that Elon Musk does the Nazi salute back to back twice, and they refer to it as an awkward gesture. I mean, give me a break. Give me a break.
God, I remember that. That feels like it was 1,000 years ago, but I will never forget that.
Awkward gesture. Yeah, that's okay.
Super awkward. You're saying this is a little bit of a tangent, but I'm just remembering something I've never brought up on the show, but I think is worth stating, that this is just a small thing that happened to me on Substack, but I am Jewish, Lawrence is Jewish, but non-practicing and not even culturally particularly Jewish. Just you can't choose to be unchosen. Did the blood test and I'm like 97% Jewish. That's what flows through my blood. And I'm not ashamed to say so or anything like that. There's a creator I love on Substack, Chef Tova. He or she is Tova Disrupting Nicely, huge in the culture space, young woman from New York. And she is Jewish and writes about it quite a bit. And her content is quite saucy and sometimes, not safe for work. But she posted something and she ended it with "L'chaim bitches" was how it ended. And I restacked it because it was very well written and just said "L'chaim bitches" back at you. And I had someone, I'm not going to name them because it's someone who's part of my community and has always been there in the comments, come back to me and say, "I hate that word." And I was like, "Which word?" Because I ended it with that. And they said "L'chaim," like all the harm against Gaza. I hate this word. And I was like, you're not, L'chaim means to life. Like you're not taking that from me or anyone else. Can you not separate those things? And the person just said goodbye. And I know that's small, but I don't encounter anti-Semitism in my day-to-day life. I don't go to temple. My kids are not religious at all. It's something it still feels sort of abstract. But that really shocked me that I'm like, you can't come after a language and an expression of joy of a people because their leader is doing awful things in the world. So,
well said.
Thank you. Important. I realize that's very small compared to the 41,000 hate crimes. And also it feels adjacent to it that that's not a hate crime, but that is a way that the left does harm. And it's important to stand up to both of those things. But I am shocked at only 3. Only 3.
Yeah, and I downloaded the file that you can actually document and see each one by one too. So it's not even this abstract guess. It's very well documented too.
And
Beautiful.
can we point out that this is happening in a week where there's been yet another shooting in the United States of America, a hate crime perpetrated by white people against the Muslim community in San Diego, the community center in San Diego, where 3 people were killed, including one, a security guard who literally put his body between the shooters and 140 children, right? Who literally died protecting the next generation. And when they got the guys who did it, they are white, male teenagers who were radicalized online and they hate everybody equally, black, Jewish, Muslim, women, gays, you name it. They hate everyone. And this was their, kind of first planned foray into perpetrating terror and horror in the name of white Christian nationalism, which is the thing that is destroying this country.
I was speaking to, well said, Lawrence. I was speaking to somebody who is working closely with that mosque and helping them kind of put the pieces back together. And he had a chance to look at the full manifesto, and he goes, I think there's more anti-Jewish hate in the manifesto than anti-Muslim hate even. And he goes, my guess is that they went out to commit something horrible, just happened to see the mosque first because it's large and it's very visible with the minaret. He goes, I have no doubt if they'd seen a synagogue first, then we would be talking about a horrific crime at a synagogue. And he goes, it's just, it's a reminder that anti-Muslim hate and anti-Jewish hate are 2 sides of the same coin. And you can't tolerate one and expect the other one to go away, and you can't only condemn one. We need to condemn both. And that's why these conversations between Muslims and Jews, or people of faith and not faith, are so critical to demonstrate that we don't actually have to believe the same thing to recognize each other's humanity and hold that sacred. Whether you believe in God or no God or a million gods, the humanity of every person has to be sacred and can never be wronged under any circumstance. And so that's why I cherish each of you, because you're so unapologetic about that principle. That, to me, has to be the litmus test of how we work together.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was really beautifully said, Qasim. Thank you. And
make me cry. But
Dana
emotional.
The whole point of this show, is not just sharing our friendship with everyone, but also the worldview that we've kind of constructed together, growing up together for 47 years, which is we're all fucking in this together. Like, you can't separate out, you can't judge. Like, the whole point, we think, of this generation is to figure out how to do the work and confront the trauma and heal the trauma. And if we need to have reparations, right? And apologize for slavery and for stealing native land and for the hatred that Jews and Muslims have suffered at the hands of, people in this country, we need to do that.
That's right. That's right. Okay, Dana?
Yeah, no, I'm good. It's been an emotional week, and it's you talking about all of this is it's just hitting here. The one theme I've been talking about a lot this week is protecting trans kids and this idea of being underbabied. And I know this is a bit of a pivot, but stick with me that when I first went live and talked about it, when Dr. Oz got out there and said we're underbabied in this country, I was like, it was, I think, the same day or the day after the mosque shooting. And there were, I didn't know how many babies. Were there really 140 kids in there, Lawrence? I knew there were kids, but
there were.
I was like, who's thinking about those babies? Who's thinking of, like, do you want to know why we're underbabied? Like, my kids have grown up in a world where they do active shooter drills all the time. The middle school next to my house went on not lockdown, what's the step right below that, shelter in place this week. It's happened at their schools before. Like, I didn't even get into all of that when I talked about the reasons why we are underbabied. I'm writing a story about it now, but I'm thinking about the trauma that all the kids in that mosque are going to take with them forever. You don't forget that, even though they're all safe, thank goodness. None of them were harmed. None of them were killed, but they were all harmed.
Yep.
And I don't know what that harm will look like as these kids grow up, being American, but also being Muslim and knowing the way they were not protected because there are no gun controls. So I know that's a little bit of a tangent, but this is all related, right? It's all, right, Christian nationalists. And also the teenage boys who did this were kind of babies, right? They were kids who got sucked into a vortex of hatred. Their frontal lobes weren't even developed yet. Didn't they also kill themselves? I believe they are no longer alive.
Yep, they did. Yeah, they died by suicide. No, but to your earlier point about the children, Dana, I mean, this is the James Baldwin quote that I think about often, where he says, the children are ours, all of them, all over the globe. And I'm beginning to think that those who can't understand that concept are incapable of morality. And I mean, again, it's just such a universal bar and litmus test. We're talking about children. I don't care if they're Jewish, Muslim, any background or any diversifying demographic. They're children. And if you can't have empathy for children, then I'm sorry, you are a soulless, moralless, contemptible person, and I pity you because something happened in your life that made you feel this way, and all I can have is pity for you. And I just hope that you don't hurt children in this kind of black hole of despair that you've fallen into. So that sounds a bit harsh, but when it comes to children, I don't really have any patience for people who are abusive to children.
100 million%.
I absolutely agree.
Man, this is a hard one to follow up. That went to a lot of places, but for the record, Kazem's story is about the 41,000 hate crimes against Jews and how the powers that be are trying to frame this into being a leftist Muslim problem, but that only 3 of them were actually done in the name of radical leftism or for Muslims. This is a white Christian national male problem.
Yeah. And I have all the receipts up on my Substack if somebody wants to dive into it.
And it's in the chat. I'll put it in there again. Karen and I have both shared it. And the last comment I see here in the chat, Nancy B just says in all caps, "I love your work, Kasem," with a bunch of exclamation points.
I love you back. Thank you.
So sweet. Lawrence, that's a tough act to follow. You want to go next or should I go next?
I thought she was going to be like, that's a tough act to follow. You're going next.
I'm asking.
I'll go next, sure.
Okay.
Mine is definitely a different flavor of fucked up. So this week, Elon Musk is quoted in an X post saying, "Universal high income via checks issued by the federal government is the best way to deal with unemployment caused by AI." Okay, so
sounds good.
Here for
let's
a minute. Say again.
I said that sounds great. What's wrong with that, Lawrence? I'm setting the ball up.
According to Musk, everyone should receive $1,000 a month from the U.S. government. That's right, $1,000 a month, so that we can offset the push that AI and robotics. So he's saying, and AI and robotics are going to produce goods and services far in excess of the increase of money supply, so there will not be inflation. So this, of course, is coming from the guy who, through his fake-ass Doge not agency, because it wasn't really incorporated correctly by Congress, sought to cut $2 trillion from the federal budget, now proposing a program that is going to pay people a universal basic income where when, which is now, AI begins to start putting people out of work. For folks who don't know, I recently wrote a big piece called Running with the Devil about my experiences with AI and building a website that I think would have taken about 25 people 6 months and $2 million to do, and I did it over 6 weeks with Claude. And I am not just the displaced by AI in the workforce, I am now also the displacer. I was going to try to work the Oppenheimer Bhagavad Gita quote in there, but maybe I won't do that. So yeah, this is Elon Musk. Nobody more sage, more wise, more calm than Elon Musk, saying that we should all get high income checks from the federal government. He then says those checks should be $1,000 a month, which goes to prove that he doesn't have any freaking idea what high income actually means. Meanwhile, he's still promoting his effort through his robotics company to create workers that will take every job from people. He estimates the market value of his company, if it does that, could be upwards of $25 trillion. That's trillion with a T, because he's talking about taking the jobs of basically most of the American economy. So yes, I submit this to you as incredibly fucked up that the guy who is famous for trying to cut $2 trillion from the US government now wants the government to create a new entitlement program, though he purportedly hates all the others, that will help people get through the giant AI work reduction displacement.
I'll just offer two quick points to that. One, he's stealing Andrew Yang's idea. Andrew Yang has been talking about this for 7-8 years, right when he started running for president back in 2019, 2020.
Oh, I remember. I was all like gung-ho, like, I love this idea, Andrew.
So there's nothing more Elon Musk than stealing someone else's idea and trying to pass it off as his own. So like that's one, right?
Including the name Tesla.
Right. The whole I mean, somebody did a great thread on Twitter some years ago before Apartheid Clyde bought it, where they laid out how this guy has actually never invented anything. Everything he has, he's basically stolen, commandeered, bought out, and then put his name on it. He's like, someone said he's like the married couple that has a baby and then they name it after the guy. It's like she did all the work and then he just put his name on the group project. That's basically who he is, right?
Yep.
So that's one. The second point I want to bring up is, I don't know if you guys know this, but the United States government was about to pass UBI under Nixon back in the 70s.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
It was set to pass, and they had the votes to pass. And then a couple, I can't remember their names, but a couple of Southern conservatives sounded the alarm. And they put up a testimony that if we give everyone universal basic income, then, because by the way, I don't know the studies show that UBI actually does wonders to decrease crime, lift people out of poverty, innovation, you name it. It's a brilliant idea, and it's been proven over and over again. But they said that this study proves that if we have universal basic income, it will destroy families because women will have financial independence and will become too powerful, and it will destroy our society. Now, notwithstanding how absurd it is to be afraid of women who are financially independent, it just shows the patriarchy is insane. After the vote was passed, or after they had the vote and it was shot down because of the study, it was revealed that this study was actually completely made up. There was no study. It was completely false. So we could have had UBI back in the 70s. Imagine the transformative impact it would have had on just societies, on poverty, on women, on the overall benefit to humanity. But because a couple of rich, arrogant, white, entitled, misogynist pricks wanted to lie and are so afraid of women, we are in this place right now where women don't have anywhere near the financial autonomy they should. Wealth and income inequality is at record highs. And we got Apartheid Clyde pretending he came up with this idea that we already know is proven. He has no actual way of implementing it himself.
Did you just say Apartheid Clyde?
Yeah.
That's what I call him, Apartheid Clyde.
I love that. Yeah. That might not be new, but it's new to me.
Yeah.
Can I throw an interesting factoid in? You said Apartheid Clyde, and it made me think of the other thing that I almost picked as my fucked up Friday story, which is apparently in the last, I don't remember the time period, month, I think, or quarter, there have been something like 7,000 cases of asylum refugees granted in the United States. And this is kind of like your interesting fact, Kazim. Guess how many of those 7,000 were from any place other than South Africa?
Oh my God. Is it less than 100?
It's 3. It's the same number as the ADL number. 7,000 people, white people, were granted refugee status in the United States from South Africa. The other 3 were from Afghanistan.
That's and he's sending back even people who worked as translators for our service members, sending them back to die under the Taliban. And even the South African refugees that were accepted last year are themselves self-deporting because they're like, hey, we had it bad in South Africa, but it's worse here. So we're going to go back and face the so-called white genocide that doesn't actually exist. That's how messed up this is. Well, I didn't know that, Lawrence. I'm going to have to look that up and report on that more, because that's absolutely effed up.
Yeah.
That is astonishing. Before I jump into my story, you telling this story, so this feels very strange to me that this is where Elon Musk is like suddenly like UBI, even though it's like way too low a number. But just the fact that he's jumping into UBI, something that I like when my kids get their weekly allowance, when they were younger, they get a weekly amount, but I give them UBI at the start of every month to start socializing them to the idea of like, you get this to exist in my home. The rest you have to work for.
Yeah.
It's a universal. So they now ask at the start of the month, where's my UBI, which makes me smile. I'm also thinking of the story I just read about Jeff Bezos is coming out and saying like, if you earn less than this amount, you shouldn't pay taxes. I'm sure you all saw that this week.
Yeah.
Why are Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos in the same week coming out with these populist sort of low income? I do know why, right? Are we looking at two presidential runs?
Oh, I was not thinking that. I was thinking
they're trying to avoid paying their taxes of their own by.
But what were you thinking? That Bezos says that in the same week that he said you could double my taxes and it still wouldn't help the middle school teacher, the seventh grade teacher.
Yeah, it was in the same.
Yeah.
Right. Like, yes, it would actually, well, Jeff.
Actually, technically, he might be right because he's not paying any taxes anyway. So the double of zero is still zero. So he's technically right about
nothing
that.
Nothing from nothing gets nothing. Yeah.
Oh my God. But isn't it? So Lawrence, why do you think that? That's not a coincidence.
No, I think
those two have been having
the writing on the wall that there is a gigantic populist anti-AI, anti-tech bro, anti-billionaire sentiment growing in this country. And they don't want to be burned at the stake in a crowd full of people with pitchforks and torches. Like, they are seeing that their actual lives and incomes and welfare are in jeopardy.
Yep. My theory is that Bezos is watching the Amazon search results for guillotines, and he's seeing that number is spiking, and he's like, let me do something about it. That's my theory.
Normally, Amazon would just make guillotines cheaply in China and import them and sell them, seeing a search opportunity like that. But this is...
and to be sure, I wish no particular harm to Jeff Bezos. I only wish upon him what he has imposed upon millions of people who are living in poverty because of him. I wish for him what he's put on other people.
Yeah. I am going to go mock up an Amazon Basics guillotine now.
Put that in there with your Lux Max or your hammers that you're going to make.
Yeah, the
that's not funny.
For Lux Maxers.
Lux Max and guillotines.
Yeah, just might as well combine them. Maybe if the guillotine hits them like right on their bones, it'll like.
Right.
You have heard of Lux Maxing and clavicular and all that, yeah.
Yep.
All right, I guess it's my turn. My story is a total shift. I also want to apologize to our chat. There was someone being unsavory in our chat, and they have been blocked, so they will stop. Just took a minute to do that and also be on air, but we're good now. Seventh sign soul will gone.
Yep.
Okay, let me go find my story over here. It is, and I have to thank Yanni Hamburger, our admin, because he sent this to me. And I was like, thank you, Yanni, you did my homework for me. So credit where it's due. I have not heard this story anywhere, though it is here in The Guardian. It's just not getting air. The title is Point of No Return. New Orleans relocation must start now due to sea level, study finds. And it goes on to say, that there was a study done that is recommending that we start relocating people from New Orleans immediately as the city has reached a, quote, point of no return that will see it surrounded by the ocean within decades due to the climate crisis. Let me go ahead and put this in the chat so I can show a receipt here because this is reported in The Guardian. Oh, interesting. I can't, it actually won't let me hit refresh on the chat to see if I can put it in there. Or here, Karen, I'm gonna text it over to you so that you can hopefully share it. Shocking that we are not seeing this in the news. This is a major US city. This is a beautiful city with like, Have you've been to New Orleans, right, Lawrence and Qasim? Like,
Oh yeah.
Many times.
I have. There is no other city quite like New Orleans. It's beautiful. It's creepy. It's full of art and music, and it's glorious. And it will be sunk in within
I was
generations.
in Louisiana in college after Hurricane Katrina. I went down to support Katrina survivors, and I mean, you guys remember that, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Bush,
for sure.
Katrina, yeah.
Yeah,
I think nearly
2005.
2,000 people died because of just failed government response and lack of urgency. Where Kanye West famously went on before he became who he is now and said George Bush hates black people, and I don't think he was wrong in saying that. But I was there about 6 weeks after, part of a group that I've been working with since then, Humanity First, and it looked like Armageddon. I mean, it looked because of the hurricane just devastated everything. I still have pictures of just entire streets wiped away, and yeah, that's painful, Dana, because it is a beautiful city, and inevitably the people who are going to be harmed most by this are going to be low-income people, black and brown people who don't have the means to just get up and go.
Exactly.
And the people that are going to profit off of this, because there's always vulture capitalists who are going to profit off of this. Some kind of vulture capitalist firm or insurance company or bank is going to find a way to make massively off of this. And what actually needs to happen is not going to happen, and that's a shame.
No, and the quote here is: Southern Louisiana is facing 3 to 7 meters of sea level rise and the loss of 3/4 of its remaining coastal wetlands, which will cause the shoreline to, quote, migrate as much as 62 miles inland, thereby stranding New Orleans and Baton Rouge, according to the study, which compared today's rising global temperatures with a period of similar heat 125,000 years ago that caused a sea level rise. And
wow.
Yeah, these numbers are like, you feel them in your gut, right? The thing that's so alarming is we are so busy chasing horrors that are completely made by the powers that be, by the MAGA right who are in office, that we have no ability to stay on top of the climate crisis, which is happening to us. It's our tower card, so to speak, in Terra. Like, this is something that needed immediate action, and the scientists knew it, and we elected someone who willfully does not believe in it. The news is not reporting on it, and 3 to 7 meters of sea level rise.
Wow.
So that is my fucked up Friday story. I don't even know if we lose New Orleans at that level, what other cities.
Yeah, Florida's got to not be looking
Tampa?
great.
Yeah, Tampa can't be looking real good right now.
Yeah, I mean, DC is on an estuary, right? Like, New York is very close to sea level. Like, there are many, particularly East Coast cities that are very vulnerable to sea level rise.
I'm in Seattle. I'm like the Puget Sound is like right there. I can smell it. It's close. So I haven't dug into the full study to see if it comments on other cities, but New Orleans, it's not just that it's going to be gone in a few decades and people our age don't need to, we won't be alive to see it. They're recommending evacuation now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, relocation of the entire city, right? Which is a multi-billion-dollar project of, if we were going to do it right, identifying, the sacred and beautiful and historical pieces of New Orleans and picking them up brick by brick and moving them somewhere else. But we're not going to do that. We're never going to be that organized. As we've all noted, we'll be lucky if people actually have the ability to move and leave. As Qasim said, black and brown and poor low-income people are going to be left behind to fend for themselves and figure it out.
Right. And they've voted in. I mean, I would imagine New Orleans is probably more liberal than the rest of the state, but politics in Louisiana aren't great.
Yep.
You mean under Mike Johnson, they're not doing well? I would never have guessed.
Exactly. We've only got 3 minutes, and Qasim has been so gracious to bear with our technical difficulties today. Let's make sure we get him out of here on time. So let's have the vote. Dana, tell people how to vote.
All right. Here is Jill is asking me to send a Dungeness crab. Jill, I totally understand. That is a treasure of the Pacific Northwest that we have Dungeness crabs here in abundance. They are delicious. Okay, let's do our fucked up Friday voting. If you wish to vote for Qasim and the the 41,000 anti-Semitic crimes, of which only 3 were actually committed by leftists or Muslims, vote. That was not a very good summary, but I think you all know what I mean.
Perfect summary.
For Kazem. If you would like to vote for Lawrence and the way Elon Musk is suddenly championing for UBI, but a very, very small UBI, vote for Lawrence. And if you would like to vote for the loss of New Orleans that is apparently imminent from climate change, vote for Dana. Put our names in the chat and we will have our, Price Waterhouse
is standing by backstage with the results.
Let's see here. I see Kazem.
Early runaway for Kazem.
Yeah. Yep. And then I see a bunch of Dana, Kazem, Danas. Impossible to vote for one. All 3 of you. Dana, Kazem. Can there be a tie? Oh yeah, I think last time we did this, it was a 3-way tie, right?
Right. We usually tie.
we often do because they are all whores. There's one for you, Lawrence. Luca voted for you.
Thanks, Luca.
Kazem. It's a tie for me. I think Kazem, I think you've got this one.
Yeah,
I think I'm a close second, but you have won. We are putting the crown.
Done. Thank you.
The metaphorical crown on your head. Do go read Kazem's story. In fact, let me. Do I still have it?
I know you've got 1 minute. How about tell folks where they can find you? Please subscribe.
Much love to all of you. I'm at QasemRashid.com. I'm at Qasem Rashid across all platforms and socials, whatever your preferred one is. My Substack is a free, no paywall access. By being a paid subscriber, you get no special benefits. I promise you, except the good feeling that you're supporting a human rights lawyer trying to do what you can to make this world a better place for all of our children. And would love to have your support and would love to be engaged. So thank you. Appreciate you all.
I am a paid subscriber because Kazem, we need you.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. Please go support. Here it is. One last minute before you all go. If you read one thing today, here is the story that inspired Kazem's Fucked Up Friday story. Please go read it. Go subscribe and go forth and do good trouble in the world today and into the weekend.
Peace.
Love you all. Mean it.
Bye.